In a move that has sent shockwaves through Washington, D.C., the Trump administration has offered a massive buyout program to federal employees. This unprecedented initiative aims to significantly reduce the size and scope of the federal government, a cornerstone of Trump's political agenda. The scale of the buyout is staggering, with over 2 million civilian employees eligible to receive a financial incentive to leave their positions voluntarily. This ambitious plan has sparked intense debate, with proponents lauding its potential to streamline government operations and reduce bureaucracy. They argue that a leaner federal workforce will lead to greater efficiency and cost savings for taxpayers. However, critics fear that the mass exodus of experienced personnel could cripple vital government services and undermine the effectiveness of federal agencies. At the heart of this controversy lies a fundamental question about the role of government in American society. The Trump administration's buyout program represents a significant departure from the past, with potentially far-reaching consequences for the future of the federal workforce and the services it provides. As the deadline for employees to decide their fate approaches, the nation watches closely, grappling with the uncertainties and potential ramifications of this bold experiment in government restructuring. The original deadline of February 6, 2025, loomed large for federal employees contemplating the Trump administration's buyout offer. With just days to go, a federal judge in Massachusetts threw a wrench into the works, extending the deadline to at least February 10th. This legal intervention stemmed from a lawsuit filed by federal worker unions, challenging the legality of the buyout program. The unions argued that the government could not guarantee the promised buyout payments beyond the March 14, 2025 budget expiration date. This legal challenge added another layer of complexity to an already contentious issue, leaving many federal employees unsure of how to proceed. Despite the uncertainty surrounding the deadline, the buyout offer has proven tempting for a significant number of federal employees. As of February 5th, over 40,000 individuals have chosen to accept the government's offer, opting for a financial payout in exchange for leaving their positions. This number represents a mix of those seeking early retirement, career changes, or simply a way out of what some perceive as a demoralized and uncertain federal workforce. However, the question remains whether this voluntary exodus will be sufficient to meet the Trump administration's ambitious goals for government downsizing. The Trump administration's federal buyout program, while expansive in its reach, is not a one-size-fits-all proposition. Eligibility for the program extends to a broad swath of the federal workforce, encompassing most civilian employees across various agencies and departments. However, certain exemptions are woven into the fabric of the program, carving out specific groups deemed essential to the functioning of the government. Among those excluded from the buyout offer are members of the military, employees of the United States Postal Service, and those involved in immigration enforcement. The rationale behind these exemptions centers on the critical nature of their work and the potential disruption that their departure could inflict on national security and public safety. Furthermore, the buyout program carves out exceptions for individuals working in national security, public safety, and other agency-specific roles deemed too vital to be disrupted by the voluntary departure program. This selective approach reflects the administration's attempt to balance its downsizing goals with the need to maintain essential government functions. However, looming over this complex web of eligibility and exemptions is the specter of mass layoffs. The White House has set its sights on reducing the federal workforce by a significant margin, aiming for a reduction of 5 to 10%. If the number of employees accepting the buyout falls short of this target, the administration has signaled its willingness to resort to involuntary layoffs to achieve its desired outcome. Section 4. Legal roadblocks and criticisms. A buyout shrouded in controversy. The Trump administration's federal buyout program has found itself navigating a turbulent sea of legal challenges and criticisms since its inception. Opponents of the program have raised concerns about its legality, arguing that such a sweeping change to the federal workforce requires congressional approval. The lawsuit filed by federal worker unions, which resulted in the recent deadline extension, exemplifies the legal hurdles the administration faces. Beyond the legal questions surrounding the buyout, critics have voiced concerns about its potential impact on the effectiveness of government services. They argue that the sudden departure of experienced personnel could lead to a brain drain within federal agencies, hindering their ability to carry out their missions effectively. Moreover, some critics question the long-term cost-saving benefits touted by the administration. They argue that while the buyout may reduce the federal workforce in the short term, the remaining employees may face increased workloads and burnout, potentially leading to decreased productivity and ultimately negating any cost savings. The Trump administration maintains that the buyout program is a necessary step to streamline government operations and reduce bureaucracy. However, the legal challenges and criticisms highlight the complexity of this issue and the potential for unintended consequences as the administration seeks to reshape the federal workforce.